Hi there folks, welcome to another video by the brilliant expat Cappy. Another video in the series Apollo Morons Daily. This one volume 9. And as you can see, the moron of today is none other than Joan Evans again. Now folks, what we're going to be dealing with this video is another one of expats' demons that's haunting Joan Evans. Demons that's making her pull her head out and stop her getting any sleep. Dealt with two of the demons haunting Joan Evans. We dealt with the pink flamingo. We dealt with the one-legged astronaut. And now we're going to deal with another one of Joan Evans' demons. The demons of the white sheep. Now folks, take a look at the next couple of photos coming up to get a good explanation of what this video is all about. Okay folks, this is the best photo to start off with. It's the Apollo 17 LEM AS17-140-2137 and here's that photo brightened up for you to get a better view. And what you can see with this LEM is all the gear they took is on a pallet outside the LEM and it's covered with a white sheet. Now folks, that photo I just showed you with that LEM brightened up, anyone with any common sense should know immediately that it is fake and not taken on the moon. The greatest piece of evidence there is you can see the light rays coming from a spotlight above. Now, do a little experiment yourself. Go out in the night and see if you can see the moon. And what do you see? You see it a whitish lit up ball in the sky. Now, what is lighting up that moon? Well, it's the light rays coming from the sun and striking the moon and lighting it up. Now, as the great Sherlock Holmes used to say, from what you see, what do you deduce? Look at that moon and see if you can see straight lines of white light from the sun hitting the moon. You will not see them because the moon is out in a vacuum. Light rays cannot light up and be visible in a vacuum. There is nothing in a vacuum to light up. So that photo I just shown you, for you to see light rays coming down, it proves the photo was taken here on the earth, not on the moon, because that is impossible. You cannot see light rays in a vacuum. Now folks, regarding this sheet over this gear, Joan Evans tried to tackle it and she gave an explanation which is the same as the explanation given by NASA with the photo. What they state is this sheet or this white gear is only visible in the J-class series, which is 15, 16 and 17. What they state is because they were there 3 days instead of 1, they need extra equipment. All this you see as white gear or white sheet over is added on extra gear. But funny enough folks, we can all agree with that. If they're there 3 days off later, after longer, they're going to need extra equipment. But what about extra food, extra water, extra oxygen? There's no mention of extra supplies for them to survive. No mention at all. Well, there wasn't a couple of weeks ago when I done the video on it, but I can bet you the data or the descriptions are going to change. You may now find they've included that, but one thing they can't get around folks is if Apollo 11 was only there for 1 day and it had batteries, and now Apollo 15, 16 and 17 have got batteries, well wouldn't they need 3 times the amount of power storage? You can't put 3 times the amount of power into the initial batteries. The only way you could take 3 times the amount of power stored is 3 times the amount of batteries. And initially this LEM, it couldn't carry 2 seats. Drummond admitted it is too heavy. They had to remove the seats for it to fly. And now come Apollo 15, 16 and 17, they put extra gear and they put a rover. But as I said, they didn't take any extra supplies for survival. What you're going to see now is
they made a video in the last 2 or 3 weeks.
Okay folks, here's the next part of Joan Evans' video, part 3, the white sheet again. Honestly, how many times do I have to answer this question before it sinks in? It is not a white sheet. It's Mesa packing material as used for the J-class missions. We'll see about that, Joan, won't we?
There you seen it, folks. Joan Evans. Demon number 3 that's making her full hair out. Demon number 3 that's traumatizing Joan Evans. She can't sleep by night.
Okay folks, we're now going to look at this LEM here, Apollo 17, AS17-140-24370. And as you can see, it's been photoshopped. I've close cropped around the gear for this Apollo 17 LEM. Now note where the arrows are. I say that's a sheet for the top, and I say it's a sheet for the side. You say it's equipment. Well, let's see you name it. What are these objects my arrows are pointing to? What equipment is that, Joan Evans? Let's have an answer.
Okay, Joan Evans, that photo I just showed you there was the Apollo 17 LEM, okay? Now I'm going to show you the Apollo 16 LEM, which has got exactly the same sheets on it, except that one of them has been pulled back and taken a photo of it. But it's the same LEM.
This is the Apollo 16 LEM, okay? AS16-116-18579. Let's take a closer look at it, shall we? Okay, take a look at this cropping of the gear for this Apollo 16 LEM. Now, it's virtually the same apart from a few little differences put in by Kip Peak to make it look like a separate LEM. The sheets in this one are exactly the same as Apollo 17, it's just with this one they pulled it back, as I told you, and then took a photo of it. Let me show you some more similarities between this Apollo 16 gear and the Apollo 17 gear. Here you are folks, here's those two different LEMs combined. Now, just take a look at my text at the bottom left. 3-strap storage box. It's the same box in both LEMs, it's just slightly different orientation. That's Kip Peak airbrushing it in and putting it in a different orientation, but it's the same item in the same position. Now my text at the bottom right, the top section of the sheets is the same in both photos, except with the left one, you can see the main sheet is pulled back. But look at the very top. It's a flat, square section of sheet, and it's the same in both photos. Both photos were the same LEM, folks.
I've just shown you 2 sheets on that gear. Now, if you're adamant they are not sheets, make another video, use my clips there, and where I've got arrows going to the sheets, you tell us, William, they are not sheets, they are this and that. Give us an explanation what they are. Tell us, Joan, what they are. If you say they are equipment, then tell us what equipment they are, Joan Evans. Now, folks, we get back now to Joan Evans' fake Apollo 16 movie. A movie they must have made in the last 2 or 3 weeks to counteract expat Taffy's claim that there was not one LEM on the moon that showed they used the gear.
Well, look at this folks. Joan Evans' video of Apollo 16. Let's watch a video of the Apollo 16 astronaut unpacking the Mesa. Watch how they pull gear out of the pockets in the white packing material dash blanket. Oh, blanket, where does that come from, Joan? So it's not just gear now, it's a blanket, is it, Joan? Do you know what a blanket is for, Joan? A blanket is thrown over you when you're in your bed to keep you warm. What happened to the word sheet, Joan? Afraid to use it, is it? Well, we know what a sheet is for, don't we, Joan? It's to throw over something to keep it dry when it's raining. So why are you reluctant to use the word sheet, you, Joan?
Hey, you're looking at me with the big eye. All right, the big eye's on you, the big eye's on you, the big eye's on you.
Okay, folks, two things with that clip there. No time delay. And another thing, the big eyes are on you, Charlie. Got that? Remember the word Charlie, the name Charlie. Now, let's take a look at the next clipping coming up from that video.
Look what you've got there, folks, for his wristwatch. It's just an empty case of an old wristwatch put on as a clue. There's no guts in it, there's no glass on it, there's no hands on it. And what you can see at the top is a little slot down. Now what that slot is for is to take the winding shaft when you drop the workings into the case. The winding shaft drops down that slot, but there's no guts in it. Now what you're going to have the idiot cleric say is, he bumped it against the rover and all the guts fell out.
There you are, folks. How many of you agree with that idiot cleric 58 and Joan Evans that that photo of Charlie was genuine and taken on the moon, and that Charlie was involved in making a movie on the moon? Now just remember, there was supposed to be two of them. So who was the other one? Well, the other one was John. So what we'll do now is take a look at John, shall we?
Okay, folks, now take a look at this photo here. This is John, the other partner. AS16-106-17340. Now let me say, folks, the moment I first set my eyes on this, my brain said, no way can that be genuine. Now you just try standing with your knees bent like that and see how long you can do it. When you're standing with your knees bent, your weight is being taken by your muscles. When you stand with your legs straight, no bending at the knees, your weight is taken with your bones. Now, when you put the weight on your muscles like this, you're soon going to get muscles aching like hell. You can't stand like that very long. The moment I seen it, I said, fake as hell. And I studied it, and I found all the evidence to prove that it is fake as hell. So, Joan Evans and Cleric think this is genuine and taken on the moon. Let's examine it, shall we? Now, with this photo, folks, NASA claims John Muir is holding the rake. As you can see, he is not holding the rake at all. He has not got a right glove. The rake is tied to the wrist part of the suit with a crepe bandage. Anybody deny that? It's tied on with a bandage, folks, and that's most probably to help prop him up because he's nothing but a stuffed dummy. Now, folks, the next thing about this photo of John, something I missed in the past. Take a look at my arrows. The one's going nearly vertical. Posing arrows shows John's right hand, or the crepe bandage, and it shows the corresponding shadow on the ground. The next two opposing arrows shows John's left hand, and he's holding a pad of some kind, and the corresponding shadow for that hand is on the ground. But folks, WTF, where is the shadow for his helmet and top pack? There's no shadow for his helmet and top pack, and the sun is supposed to be on the side of it. You should have a top pack and a helmet shadow on the ground. You haven't got it. The highest part is his arm. Another thing that makes it absolutely fake, and I'm surprised I missed that first time around 5 or 6 years ago.
Now, folks, the more and more you examine this fake Apollo 16 movie, the more and more it becomes convincing that it was made for one purpose, and that is debunking the findings of the brilliant expat Happy, because it tackles more than one anomaly I've discovered. Now just think of it. If this was made in 1972, as they claim, what they must have said to each other then is, look, we've got to make this video or this movie now because in 50 years' time there's going to be some smart-ass guy, a Welshman, who's going to come and prove we never landed on the moon. So we've got to make this video now to debunk all his findings. You've either got to accept that or accept the fact that it's fake and it's only made in the last couple of weeks. The ace of the pack is coming up, folks, and that is the flag.
That was what I was supposed to do before I did this, huh? Killing me. Feeling your thunder back here, John. I'm taking all the outside stuff out. Never seen it fail. What happened? Huh?
Okay folks, we're at the last of one photo in this video now. Take a look at this photo here, AS16-107-17438. Tell me, Joan Evans, is this a flag or not? Can you see a flag here or am I suffering from pareidolia? What do you think, Joan Evans, or what about you, Cleric58? Can you see a flag right hand side of this photo? Or are you going to say, I can't see it?
Now folks, what about you lot? Could any of you see a flag right hand side of that photo? Well, I certainly can. So what we're going to do now, folks, we're going to look at the photo that was taken prior to this one. Maybe just 10 seconds before this one. And let's see what we can see in that photo.
Well, here it is folks, and brightened up a bit for you to see. AS16-107-17437. This is the photo immediately prior to the one you just seen. And as you can see, the gear is untouched, folks. And in that movie they claim they took the flag out from the messer gear. And you can see here it hasn't been touched. All the sheets are still on top. Now what more proof do you want of that? Any of you convinced now that that Apollo 16 movie was taken on the moon in the early 70s? There's your evidence there. The flag is out, as you just seen in the previous photo, but it hasn't been taken out from this message here because it wasn't carried in there. Because all you can see there is a white sheet over the gear the astronauts used for training when this LEM was sat on the waste dump at Flagstaff, Arizona. The sheet was put over the top to keep the rain off it, folks.
There you are, Joan Evans. That wraps it up for this video that's busting your video. Now let's see you make a video, Joan Evans, busting the evidence I displayed here.